Hello, my name is Kevin Flores, and I will be talking about the overview of the whole project. So the first thing I want to talk about is the prompt that we were given. So the prompt that we were given was we had to create a GUI-based desktop application using JavaFX for a pediatric doctor's office. So it's going to be a Medicare system, and we also had to create a portal for the three classes that we were going to use, and in this case, it will be the patient portal, the doctor portal, and the nurse portal. Um, let's see. The nurse will first get the basic information from a patient, whether it was walking in or this person has been there before, this person is new. The nurse will also take the vitals, such as the weight, height, body temperature, and yeah, I'm gonna start loading it up. So in the Medcare system login, this is the first screen that you see as soon as you start running the application. And the first portal I will be showing is the patient portal. You have the option to update all this information, for example, your insurance, address, email, what pharmacy you're actually going to. You also get to see the medications that you're prescribed, your next appointment, and what specific doctor you'll be seeing, and you have the option to view your previous visits, and you can also send a message to your doctor. So for example, if I were trying to log in as a patient but trying to log in into another class, it will not let you. Nurse portal. So this is what it looks like on the nurse portal. The last one I will be showing is the doctor portal.
Hi, this is Robert Duffield, and I'm going to be walking you through our use case diagram. So this was made in Asta UML diagram. So we're just going to go from the top. So obviously all potential actors should be able to log in, and the program will verify the user type. Then we have the vitals, or entering the vitals, which is purely from the nurse. From here, it should check the age, and then depending on if the patient is older than 12, blood pressure should be taken and put in the system. Otherwise, we don't do anything with it, which is why that is an extend relationship. And then viewing health summaries, that should be available to all of the actors, doctor, nurse, patient, current and previous medications. Also, obviously, available to all of the actors that are able to log in. From there, we can add new medications via the nurse if there's a new medication the patient is taking that has not been prescribed by the doctor. If it's prescribed by the doctor, it would be entered into the system automatically, which is actually why we have that include relationship down here with free fulfill prescriptions, my bad. Viewing labs, also available to everyone. However, from the view lab, the program should allow you to request a new lab, which is only available to the doctor. Of course, should just be available to all. So the immunization history goes to the patient, nurse, and doctor. The allergies goes to the patient, nurse, and doctor. Contacting the user is available only to the doctor and the patient. So patients can contact the doctor, doctors can contact the patient. Then changing the pharmacy, which is available only to the patient. Creating comments and visit summaries available to the doctor. So, one thing we forgot to add that was brought up was that we should be able to add and remove patients and that we should be able to see the patient's history. Although I would argue that we were able to see the patient's history with the immunization history, health summaries, uh, anything else. Otherwise, that is our use case diagram, and that's all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Megan Malone, and I will be going over the class diagram. This is updated with all the new codes information to have an accurate class diagram. So from the very beginning is all connected to main, that is the starting screen, which then calls onto the login controller. And then whoever is signing in will enter in a username and password, as well as if they are a patient, nurse, or doctor. And then from there, if the information is correct, it will then go to the correct portal controller. So if it is a patient that logs in, it will then show all of their basic information. The patient portal then extends the patient diagram, which stores all their basic date of birth, name, previous weight, temperature, height, prescriptions, vaccinations, allergies. The patient portal shows their name, date of birth, phone number, insurance, address, and email, along with their pharmacy. That is one of the few things that the patient can change and update if that needs anything to change. It shows them their medications, when they started taking that medication. So then the patient can sign out. And so then if it was a nurse that logged in, they still see all the same information: name, date of birth, insurance, address, medications, doctors they seen last, any history that was inputted before, like any previous visits, if they broke any arms. Lastly is the doctor portal. They can see everything that the nurse can see. They just have a lot more things that they're able to change or update. They can add allergies, prescriptions in case they think that the patient needs any new prescriptions. They can also change vitals if that's needed. They also send messages back if the patient had sent any messages. And then that is about all that these portals can do. And then from here, you'll move on to seeing the code.
Hi, my name is Thomas Anderson. I'm with Team 18. I'll be talking about our Phase 3 code, the core modules of it. So the way our code is set up to work was that using JavaFX and Scene Builder, we created classes for controls on our UI elements. And our UI elements were built in Scene Builder. Here's our login system. Now, the way the system works as a whole is each UI element has its own controller class. So login.java contains the functionality required to perform a login. So, for instance, if I were to log in as John Doe, his password, he is a patient. It loads up the patient portal and loads in all the pertinent information about patient John Doe. Medications, name, general information, all of that. This is achieved by using a XML file as our database. XML file was the closest to an external database without actually getting into the woodworks of all that. So we have all of our tags of the various information, which our portals look for and load up. So the general information down here is all tagged out and organized, and all the portal itself and the code has to do is read from these tags and load it into the proper text boxes. As you can see, if I go to our patient controller.java, we have the update info, we have get general info, so this is the one I was just talking about, where it grabs name, phone number, all these different tags that are corresponding to our XML file in order for this to work. Now, if I log in as one of the nurses using his username and password, it loads up our next scene. So here we'll search for John Doe 10 2000. Now we look for the XML file, we look for the first, last name, the date of birth. This is controlled by another controller class with all the functionality of grabbing things from the XML file, reading them in, as well as the ability to update these. So if I change this to non-applicable and update it, the little console down here tells me it gets updated. If I sign back out, go into Java's profile as a patient, you can see it's been updated here. Again, this works by hitting our XML file, finding his current tag for prescriptions, and then changing it here. And then when the patient portal gets reloaded, re-signed into, we have that information updated as it's reading from the newly updated XML file. So to recap, in all, this works by having controller Java classes that provide the backend functionality of each UI element, which is all displayed using JavaFX and Scene Builder.
All right, this is Ryan Dillon, and I'm going to go over the conclusion of this project. I'm just going to say that I think the overall we were satisfied with the final product that we created with JavaFX software and Eclipse. We learned quite a bit about JavaFX and XML in the process of completing this project. It was especially difficult to, I think, just start working on the project itself. Not even laying out some of the groundwork of the code for the project, but getting everybody to work and communicate on the same code and getting the JavaFX libraries to work was a really difficult thing for most of the members of the team, and it was a useful learning experience. The teamwork element to this project was also very important. As a team, sometimes we had members taking really long, or sometimes we had members that frankly just had to do more than their fair share to make sure that the whole boat didn't sink, that we got the project completed on time. Overall, I think we functioned okay as a group. In terms of the actual end result, the product code, there were just a few things that we wish we could have added or touched up on. Program like adding more to the visit summary, or like the portals. Since they were coded by different people, one used text boxes where the other used a list view, and they just kind of read them and wrote them a little bit differently. And they still functioned, but if we had more time, we would change those out and make sure that it was uniform throughout the program. And I think we all learned a little bit about leadership, a little bit about teaching others, a little bit about how to communicate as a team effectively. It was a great experience.